Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Love never fails. Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8.
Sir, how does it feel to have the lake back?
Well, I tell you, Tricia, as a local resident, I feel like I can once again take pride in my community. I think this is really going to revitalize tourism, and if you look around, I think even the wildlife is starting to come back. And, you know, that's something we haven't seen in a while. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that.
Well, I think you're doing a great job, Mrs. Griffin, but my boss would kill me.
How's everything going out here?
Fine, Mr. Voorhees.
Good, because if you screw up, I'll kill you.
But we do know one thing. This kid was murdered.
Murdered? Who in the world would want to kill a camper?
Don't look at me. I'm just here to drop off my son. Justin, that does not work for me.
So tell me again, where's the lake?
Right there.
And where's the summer camp?
Right over there.
I'll take it.
Now, I am obligated to disclose that the previous owners were murdered in this house.
Whoa, buddy, quit drilling. You already struck oil.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright, what is up, my artist? Another year, another ranking video. We have last year around Halloween, we did the Halloween films. This year, I am doing the Friday the 13th films because, as you've seen, we have reviewed all of them. And I want to do more of a in-depth ranking of this franchise because when it comes to me and Devin's opinions, they differ a little bit when it comes to the franchise. So when we did our ranking in the big Friday the 13th video, that was kind of both of our opinions combined. So I wanted to do a more in-depth ranking to express my full opinion. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into it with the top 12 from Friday the 13th, top 12 ranked worst to best. Let's get it. Alright, coming in at number 12 is Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. This fucking movie, Devin enjoys it. he doesn't. But he's not wrong when he says this is one of the worst Friday the 13th movies. It's actually fucking awful. I guess if it wouldn't have Jason become a fucking demon from hell and body switching and all this bullshit, maybe it would be tolerable. But it's just bad. Like, the characters suck. The movie sucks. The cinematography isn't great either. The director, he's never seen the fucking franchise in general, so that's a whole another fucking situation in itself. This movie is by far the worst Friday the 13th movie I've ever seen. The first, I seen it once before we did the live commentary of it, and when we did the live commentary of it, I didn't realize how fucking bad it was. It was bad. It was fucking bad. And it's just not a good Friday sequel. You could tell New Line when they first got Friday the 13th, they were kind of just throwing shit at the wall, and they wanted to do just the Freddy vs. Jason movie. That's all they really wanted Friday for. They never really wanted to make movies. I feel like they never really wanted to make movies about Jason itself. They just wanted to do the crossover shit, which, to be fair, is fine, but like still, it's like was not good. Like it was not, and it wasn't a good deal. So that's why this movie is the worst of the worst. Of course, we're ranking these worst from best, so either way, but yeah. Number 12 is Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday. Fuck this movie. I never want to watch it again, honestly. But yeah, well, without further ado, let's get to number 11. Alright, next up, Friday the 13th, we'll have, this is coming in at number 11, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. This movie was just boring. Like, it has some goofy elements, I guess. Not as much as Part 7, which we'll get to later on in the fucking ranking. But this movie is just boring. It doesn't take place mostly in Manhattan. It mostly takes place in not in, but on a goddamn boat for no goddamn reason, but because they couldn't afford to shoot in Manhattan or in New York or where the fuck ever. And most of the scenes in New York they shot in like fucking Kansas or what the fuck ever. So this goddamn movie isn't as bad as Jason Goes to Hell. I will say that it isn't as bad because Jason Goes to Hell as a whole, it's just hell. So why is this movie number 11? Mainly because it's boring. It has no substance. The kills are kind of lame. There really isn't much to this film. Oh, and somehow the dog survives at the end. I don't know how. It makes no fucking sense. Then they killed Jason with toxic waste in this, and it somehow, he's just alive for Jason Goes to Hell because New Line just does not care about continuity. So, this movie is honestly pretty fucking bad. It's pretty fucking bad. I don't plan on watching it again anytime soon. I just know it's really fucking boring, and we did a lot of commentary on it. I'd only seen bits and pieces of it. I'm glad that was the only time I've watched it fully through, because man, the only dignified part of that movie was fucking the weird dinosaur, the dinosaur T-Rex arms, fucking boy Jason. So, yeah, fucking this movie, don't watch it. Just don't. It's not worth your time. It's a waste of time, and it's not good. But with that being said, let's get to number 10 on my ranking list of this franchise of Friday the 13th. Alright, coming in at number 10, we have Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. This movie wasn't even necessarily supposed to exist, because the final chapter was supposed to be the last movie in the franchise, but people kept clamoring for more Jason and all this shit. I'm not gonna go too in-depth into this one. This movie was very... I enjoyed the stuff with Tommy Jarvis. That's like the only stuff I enjoy in this movie. And I'm not really too much of a fan of Roy Burns, because it's just a random... It's so random as him being Jason. It makes no logical sense, per se. Because, I get that there was supposed to be a thing where, oh, like, his son died, so that automatically means he wants to seek revenge, but it's also just like, why? It's so random that they would go with like a whodunit scenario for a Friday the 13th movie. To be completely honest, if they just did the Jason Lives shit, like, earlier, I wouldn't have minded it, but this was completely random out of the movie. It had some good acting bits, and I mean, Tommy Jarvis was great. The twist ending was weird though, and they never followed up on it. They were gonna have Tommy Jarvis be the new Jason and everything, but they never followed up on it, and they just made Tommy Jarvis this like ripped fucking heroine in the next one. So I mean, it kind of feels kind of out of place, to be completely honest, in the franchise. That's kind of why I put it here, because to me it feels out of place. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm saying it's like, it's more out of place to me than anything when it comes down to these movies, because I feel like even though some of these are goofy as fuck, they have a place. Jason Goes to Hell and probably doesn't, I'm gonna say, but still, they at least have a place. But without further ado, let's get to number 9 on the list. Alright, on to number 9. And number 9 for me is Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. Now, this is where we start getting into like, I mean, it's still good. I'm not saying it's not bad territory. So the rest of these are going to be pretty like decent to great, basically, is what the rest of these are going to be. So fucking Friday the 13th Part 3, besides having my boy Shelly, that sounded weird, but fucking besides having him in there, is a really fucking, I guess, goofy movie when it comes to the goddamn special effects and everything. The acting, kinda hard to miss. The bad parts, I will say, but when it comes to the movie in general, it's not bad. It's not bad by any means. It's a little higher on the list only because there's a lot better on this list, and basically it's kind of just middle of the road, kind of, honestly, when it comes to these movies. These movies, it's really hard to rank some of them, in my opinion, because some of them aren't bad, but they aren't great. So I have to make some tough calls when it comes to these movies. But this one was alright for what it was, but I think it still is kind of just up there. Not necessarily as the worst, but you know what I'm saying. But on that note, let's get to number 8. Coming in at number 8, we have Freddy vs. Jason. This movie was years in the making. So many years in the goddamn making. 10 years, per se, in the fucking making. But this movie, besides being played on Sci-Fi on repeat all the fucking time, Freddy vs. Jason is not a terrible movie. It's a more or less middle of the road movie for me. It's got great fight scenes between Freddy and Jason, and the characters are meh, of course, but I mean, who really looks at the characters sometimes in these movies, especially when the movie's called Freddy versus Jason. I don't think necessarily we're focusing on the main characters, but this movie is goofy at times. You can tell Robert Englund had a lot of fun in his last time playing Freddy and everything, so that helps. A lot of continuity errors in this movie as well, but by this point in the series, I don't think they care about fucking continuity. But this movie is fun for the most part. It's nothing harmful in any way to the series. It's fun. It's got Rey Mysterio doing stunt work. It's got Robert Englund being Robert Englund, and it's got Freddy versus Jason. So, and if they would have done a sequel to this, I wouldn't have been mad, to be completely honest. That would have been another fucking movie I had to put on this ranking, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. It didn't happen, so. But, fucking, on that note, let's get to number 7 on this ranking. Alright, coming in at number 7, by complete coincidence, fucking is Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. This movie was supposed to be Jason versus Carrie until Stephen King said, "Fuck you, you're not using Carrie." So it's just a bitch named Tina, and this movie is by far the funniest of the franchise. It's so nonsensical. It's so ridiculous. Jason can just sit there and pull fucking saws and goddamn all this heavy machinery out of thin fucking air. Devin and mine's review of it on my channel, which is on this channel, of course, but it's an hour and 20 minutes long. It's the longest review in that retrospective we just did, because it's so fucking ridiculous. Like, legitimately, everybody's an asshole. Jason can just do whatever the fuck he wants, apparently. Tina's got telekinesis. It's such a fucking stupid film that you could just laugh at. It's not even, like, there's no reason for it to be so fucking stupid. Like, honestly, when it comes down to, I think the funniest parts of this film is when Jason just sits there, he grabs this fucking, I don't even know, it's like this saw, it's like a powered saw just out from the woods, out of nowhere. He just stored it. Like, what the fuck, where did he get it? I don't know where he got it. Or there's this one part where he just grabs a harpoon gun or something out of nowhere. It's fucking, I don't understand. And the funny part is Tommy Jarvis isn't even in this one, so it doesn't really follow too much of the continuity of the last one. This is the first one that just doesn't really follow continuity, and I don't mind it because it's just so fucking stupid and so ridiculous that it's enjoyable. And that's the main reason I enjoy this movie. Fucking, I will say though, when it comes to the ones down the list, there's like one more goofy one on this list, and then the rest are good, but like this is probably close to one of the goofiest fucking movies I've ever seen. More goofier than the Goofy movie. And it's so ridiculous. And it's so fucking stupid. But fucking on that note, we will get to fucking ranking number 6 on this list, and we will get to it right about now. Alright, coming in at number 6 is Jason X. New Line's other film that came out before Freddy vs. Jason. This film is fucking stupid and goofy as well. Not so much as the New Blood, because at least with this one I could sit there and think of it as a stupid movie, but also something that I could watch as like a serious movie too, in a way. It's weird. It doesn't give a fuck about the continuity, and it's stupid as fuck, but somehow I actually care about the characters, and I actually, well, most of them. The sucks on so many levels fucking line has always been atrocious, but you know, it's still something that I could sit there and watch easily. It's not anything that I think is terrible. Like, when it comes to the New Blood, I would probably have to, even though it's funny as fuck, to get through it, I would probably have to have somebody with me to watch it. With this one, I could watch it on its own, and it be stupid as fuck and funny, while also watching on my own. I don't have to sit there and like have somebody else there to laugh with it. I feel like with the New Blood, I have to have that in a way to make it funnier. But it's, I do like the characters like KM. I enjoy her character, the robot, and then I enjoy the Uber Jason scenes and all that shit. So, I mean, this movie doesn't take itself seriously, so that helps it in a way. Like, I could tell the New Blood was trying to take itself a little bit seriously. This movie does not take itself seriously. This is something that if you pop it on, don't expect to actually, like, expect to enjoy some of the characters, but don't expect to enjoy it to the extent as something like the original or something like that, because it's not. It's something to just sit down and watch as a fucking goofy, enjoyable movie. It doesn't really do me talking about it now doesn't really do it too much justice, I guess. But with that being said, let's get to the movies that I think are really great in the franchise. Let's get to number 5. Top 5. Alright, coming in at number 5, we are at the top 5, what I think is the best of the franchise. Coming in at number 5 is Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. What most people think is the best movie of the franchise. I don't necessarily think that way. I enjoy the introduction of Tommy Jarvis, and I enjoy the fact that this Jason is a lot more of a scary and threatening Jason, but I don't necessarily think that this movie is the best of all of them. I do enjoy and think that the scares and the effects, especially the effects, because Tom Savini came back for this movie because it was supposed to be the final one. You know, it was supposed to be the last Friday the 13th movie. But of course, you know, they had to sit there and goddamn sit there and fucking actually make more because people were clamoring for it and everything. But it's enjoyable in its own way, and it's definitely a movie you could pop in every now and then and watch it by yourself and enjoy it and really get immersed into Friday the 13th universe, I guess. So, with that being said, let's get to number 4 on my list. Let's get it. Alright, coming in at number 4, we have Friday the 13th Part 2. Now, this movie is the debut of Jason as an adult. It's Sackhead Jason. This movie definitely sets the tone for the upcoming movies. Not all of them, because some of them are fucking ridiculous. But this definitely sets the tone for what the series would be, at least in half of the series, when it comes to Jason being this hulking figure and killing machine. So, and I will say the iconic fucking Sackhead look is probably one of the best parts of this movie as well. It's enjoyable in a way that we find out well, of course, at the time they didn't know that this was going to be a whole ass franchise of 12 films, but it definitely was something that you found out the tone of what these movies were going to be after the original, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the spin after the situation that happened in the original where Pamela passed. So it really works on a lot of levels, acting wise, you know, and everything like that. And I really enjoy this one. That's why it goes into number 4 on my list. But with that being said, let's get to number 3 on my list. Let's get it. Alright, coming in at number 3, we have Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. This movie has a lot of things. Probably the second best Jason, who I met, CJ Graham, and probably some of the best shots I've seen in a Friday film. And this movie basically it has Tommy Jarvis in his last appearance, because we don't see Tommy Jarvis ever again in these movies. And that's a shame to an extent, honestly. But this movie has some great shots, had some great acting between the two main actors. The sheriff's a dick, but I mean, all the sheriffs are a dick in these movies. Fucking, the kills are great. It's really, I don't really have too much to say about it besides watch it yourself, to be completely honest. It's really enjoyable, and CJ Graham is super nice always, as always, but yeah, fucking, on that note, let's get to number 2 on my list. Let's fucking get it. Coming in at number 2 as a very controversial pick in my list because I know a lot of people wouldn't say that this is one of the best out of the franchise, but I would have to say the Friday the 13th remake from 2009 is my second favorite Friday the 13th movie, for multiple reasons. It kind of glosses over the like main story in the first, that was going to be in the first movie and everything, because they just wanted Jason mainly, which is fine. But I feel like this is more of a tactical approach. Jason, like, he thinks a lot more about his kills. He's more gruesome. He's more relentless. He wants to inflict pain, pretty much. That's all he wants to do. And it's scary. It's really fucking terrifying. The fact that he just fucking destroys people the way he does, with a lot of the kills. It's gruesome. It's gory. It's, honestly, it's not that bad of a remake. A lot of remakes are pretty fucking bad, but compared to a lot of them, this one was really fucking good. Also, Daniel Panabaker, my DMs are open as always. But you know what I'm fucking saying at this point, you know? Like, this movie works on different levels. It was actually going to get a sequel, which I wish it would have gotten a sequel, because I honestly would like to see what this Jason would have done. Because this Jason is a completely different Jason than we've ever seen before. Relentless and fucking brutal and even more soulless than before. You know, it's something that I would have liked to see approached more when it comes to the Friday the 13th franchise. But, of course, you know, New Line with their cancelings and, you know, all that shit, you can't really help it too much. But, yeah, fucking that was my reasoning for the Friday the 13th remake being my number 2 on the list. But on that note, Daniel Panabaker, my DMs are open, and let's get to fucking number 1 on my list, which you guys probably already know what it is. Alright, number 1 on my ranking and my list in general is Friday the 13th from 1980. Now, I do say a lot, nothing beats the original when it comes to some movies. This is one of those cases. The practical effects are great. The acting it's not the best. I will say it's not the best, but it's still decent when it comes to the main actress, and it's enjoyable in that way, especially with Pamela. Pamela was a good villain for this movie and everything, and it's just enjoyable on those levels mainly. I don't have much to say about 1 because I did do a compare and contrast on the remake and part 1, along with fucking the retrospective that we did that is coming out. I'm recording it and it hasn't came out yet, but it comes out legit 2 days before this video comes out, so there's that. I will say though, when it comes to this outro, because this is also my outro for this video, but I did enjoy the Friday the 13th series for what it was. Whatever else comes out from it, whether it be a show or another game or anything like that, I'm ready to see it. I'm going to keep an open mind when it comes down to it. But on that note, though, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you for another raking. Peace.